Hi guys. So when I first, this is my second time shooting this video. The first video, I realized that I was talking for a few minutes straight about the lizards and spiders and like random wildlife that we keep finding in our cabin. And I realized like, I don't know if you guys want to hear me talk about that for a few minutes straight, but good news is I got a new pair of rain boots to protect me from the mosquitoes. So check it out. Actually, and also these pants are new. So new rain boots, new pants, and I am fully protected. So I just wanted to also say a huge thank you to everyone that watched my video yesterday and was like reaching out to me, and you know, whether email, whether it's like advice, whether sending me text messages or DMs, being like, yo, I'm thinking about you, hope you're doing well, hope you're doing okay, you know, I watched your video or whatever. And I just want to say thank you. That was really sweet. And sometimes we just have really bad days, especially for me. That was a really bad day because it was like after a couple of days of not sleeping because of my mosquito bites. And I do actually think Andrew's correct that I'm having an allergic reaction. So like each mosquito bite is just so enlarged, like just grows really big, and then it takes like a whole bunch of like Benadryl and antihistamines to calm it down, which is working. Like so we went yesterday, we also bought a whole bunch of antihistamines, and hopefully it's gonna be okay. Also because I have these, you know, big boots now, so it's gonna be like, I really think it's gonna be fine. And then also he rebooted the router, so now the Wi-Fi works in the cabin, so that's gonna be nice. We won't have to keep going out and looking for Wi-Fi. It's still not as amazing as Wi-Fi was in Colombia, but it's much better. And so just things like that, things get better. It can't not get better. And then in regard to just the financial stuff, things, you know, I'm getting ideas in that regard too. When I was living in the US, I didn't want a job because it was, you know, the idea for jobs for me was like, it's either like, you know, go to school for many years, spend a lot of money so that I can maybe have a job that's high paying, but I would still be completely subject to somebody's rules, and I would go into a lot of debt. And then also that all those years that I'm going to school, I need somebody to support me. So I'd have to be under the authority and control of whoever's supporting me all those years in order to go to school, in order to go into debt again, and then in order to like, you know, get a job that pays off the debt. Like, it just wasn't worth it for me. It didn't seem worth it at all. So then I did jobs that were kind of, you know, using my natural skills, which is writing. I've always been good at writing. So I was doing writing jobs, and I was doing a good job, and I had like cool Fox News jobs and whatever, Daily Wire, you know, like it was great. Like writing was really great, and thanks to Ben Shapiro, he gave me a lot of opportunities in DC. He helped me out, and that was easy, but it was not nearly enough to pay the bills. And I wasn't like living a fancy life. It was just basic like food, basic rent, small place or roommates. Like it just wasn't enough. No matter how much I tried to move it around and cut it, like surviving off of a writing job in the US didn't really seem like, and it's not just about surviving, it's about surviving and having a little bit left over that you can invest in whatever other projects you're working on so you can build wealth. But it's just, I wasn't even breaking even. It was like not even at the point of saving or building wealth. It was like just, you know, 35K, and anyone who's lived in Washington, DC knows 35K a year, or even 45K a year, or maybe even 55K a year in DC is not gonna cut it. So I was far from surviving in DC, but then I realized that, hey, if I leverage my jobs, which is what I learned with house hacking and just the whole learning how to get loans, like, hey, if I leveraged those salary jobs, I can start getting bank loans for houses, to buy a house. And I was like, okay, so I started doing that, the house hacking. So that was like house hacking. Real estate was kind of my way of escaping the job that wasn't paying me well and doing something that, you know, maybe didn't break even as easily either, but at least I have a future with house hacking. It was like, okay, I have a long-term way to grow long-term. And so that's how I got into real estate, house hacking and buying real estate. But, you know, none of that was from a position of strength or feeling comfortable or stable. And now that I'm outside of the US and finding how cheap things are, like things are stupid cheap. You can hire, you know, so I have cleaning people, like cleaning crews that come to my rentals in the US right now. The cost of a cleaning crew coming out to clean your rental, not even a deep clean, just a very basic flip for a tiny little rental in the US, in Dallas, not even the most expensive place in the US. But the cost of a cleaning crew coming out to clean my rental one time in Dallas takes maybe 1 or 2 hours, is more expensive than the cost of hiring a full-time maid in Bogota, in Colombia. Just to put things in perspective for you, how much cheaper things are outside of the US. The cost of hiring a full-time maid, so I can have a full-time maid in Bogota that cleans everything for me and doesn't require health insurance for less than the price of hiring a cleaning one time in my rentals in the US, in one of my rentals. And so when you make money in the US, it's great, you're making money. But when you lose money, which is where I'm at, there's a reward and then there's a risk. The reward can be great outside of the US. But when you're in risk mode, when you're not operating from a position of stability, when the cost of having a construction repair guy, like a repair guy come out and do like a few small tasks is gonna cost more than your entire year in another country surviving, you start to think to yourself, is this risk worth it? Is this liability worth it for me? And that's where I am. I'm at the place where I'm like, yeah, I have rentals and that's cool for maybe a long term, you know, if I keep doing this, I keep buying another house and another house and another house and keep turning them into rentals and rentals, so that someday down the road in the US, I will have lots of passive income. That's cool, but do I really want that? Do I even care? Do I even want to go back to the US? No, I don't. You know, like, I'd rather have $50,000 in my bank account and have like $1,000 a year for living comfortably in another country and not have to worry about like something breaking and it costing me $20,000 every single time. That's what I would rather. Like, I'd rather that my credit cards and my line, I have a line of credit, which is all thanks to the cash flow for my rentals. I'd rather it wasn't all maxed out just because shit's just getting so expensive in the US. It's like, you know, maybe someday down the line in the US, I'll be able to maybe be comfortable, but maybe I don't even care anymore, you know, because the risk is just not worth it for me. Because at this point, I can cut my losses, lick my wounds, whatever debt I have remaining, and just stay in another country and do the stupidest thing ever. I was looking on Fiverr and I was going on Fiverr and I was like, wow, okay, so, you know, people are doing like full writing jobs for $5 a pop. You make $5 a pop for a writing job. When I was in the US, I would never have thought of working on Fiverr because the cost of living is higher. So, you know, $5 a pop when I could be working full time and making $35K a year or 40 or 50 or 60K a year. $5 a pop was nothing to me, especially when your rent is like I don't know, at least $1,500 a month or $2,000 a month to live, you know, but now outside of the US, $5 a pop for a writing piece seems great. $5 a pop, you know, and you can't compare apples with oranges. Like with real estate, it's like, all right, you can make a couple grand a month, but you can also lose a couple grand a month. There's a risk and the reward. With Fiverr, it's like, all right, maybe I'll make a couple $100 a month. That's nothing in the US, a couple $100 a month. But I'm not gonna lose a couple $100 a month, that's for sure. So if I can make a couple $100 a month and be guaranteed that I won't lose a couple $100 a month, and a couple $100 a month now means something all of a sudden, outside of the US, it suddenly means something because I could survive comfortably. And so now all of a sudden I'm rethinking this whole thing. Like, hey, what if I didn't need to amass so much risk? What if I didn't need to do all this stuff? What if I could have been working? And by the way, when I say $5 a pop, that's like what people in Kenya that don't speak English are charging for writing like basic articles. That would take me like, it would take me like 15 minutes. It would take me 15 minutes to write like a long form essay or article. I mean, this stuff, I can do this stuff in my sleep. This is what I did full time in the US. So $5 a pop for someone in Kenya to do like a very basic like blog post, I can do that easy. I can compete with someone in Kenya to write shit in English, and I don't have to lose anything. I don't have to worry about like going, you know, a couple more $100,000 in debt over it. Hell yeah. Like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do that. And so this is like my thinking. Like, you know, I know that it seems like going backwards to a lot of people. It's like, hey, Pardis, why would, you know, you could be making, you know, 7 to 10 grand a month from your rentals in Texas. Instead of 7 to 10 grand a month, you want to make $700 a month? Well, what's with that? It's not that. You're not guaranteed 7 to 10 grand a month when you're an entrepreneur. You're not guaranteed anything, but you're guaranteed to lose that much. Like, you're guaranteed to lose a lot of money every month at the very least. And so you're basically taking a huge gamble. And I'm not saying real estate is awful. I'm just saying, like, real estate is not fun when you're not coming from a position of stability, when you don't have other assets to, like, other equally big assets to like roll you over. And another thing that I haven't told you guys is in the future for my real estate projects, I'm going to be, and I'm talking to a couple of gold companies that do like that'll hold your assets in gold, whether in the United States or abroad, and they'll even let you borrow against gold and like all this kind of stuff. So in the future, just to protect myself and to remove a little bit of that stress that I've been having with real estate, in the future I'm gonna start tying up my assets in gold. So, you know, even if I do get involved in real estate again, it's not gonna be with this level of stress like every single day. And yeah, if I don't have to worry about losing 7 to 10 grand a month to my lifestyle, to the cost of labor, to keep my rentals, like if I don't have to worry about that and I'm living in a place that's dirt cheap, then yeah, of course I would rather only make $700 a month because I don't have to worry about it. Like, I don't have to worry about losing. You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of having a faucet with full water pressure running in your bowl when there's a huge hole at the bottom. I would much rather have like a tiny trickle in my bowl, but just know that there's no hole in the bottom where my money is falling out. So anyway, I don't even know what the title of this video is going to be called, but that's where my mind is at today. Just an update.